Hey guys, my name is Beatrix Watanabe and today I'm going to show you my favorite way of how to wear a red lip. It's great for a night out, super long lasting and looks great in photos. So I'm going to start off by priming my face with the Urban Decay Naked Skin Primer. It's got a bit of shimmer in it and it's also got a bit of pigment, so it's really going to help just kind of correct and conceal your face before you put a base on. So I'm going to apply this with my fingers, but you can also use a foundation brush or a sponge if you like. I'm just going to rub that all into my skin and make sure you bring it down just underneath your neck, otherwise you'll have a different coloured face in photos. Next I'm going to go in with a foundation. I'm going to go with a full coverage. I really like the Bobbi Brown Longwear foundation right now. I'm going to apply this to my face using a damp beauty blender. I prefer to normally just dot the foundation onto the areas where I need it and then blend it in. This might look really silly, but I find this is just the easiest way to make sure I get coverage where I seem to get really red. And I feel like it also just kind of helps put your product where you want it before you start kind of moving it around with the sponge. Then I'm just going to dab this and kind of work it into the skin. You don't want to kind of wipe it too much because you're actually going to move the product off of where you've put it. So I'm just literally going to start blending this, kind of dabbing it all over my face. And you can add more foundation if you need. You'll kind of see how your coverage is going once you kind of start blending it in. And make sure you get into the corners of the nose and also try and bring that down a little bit underneath your chin again. So next I'm going to conceal my face. I'm going to go in with my NYX Cosmetics HD Concealer and then just going to use a sponge applicator and apply it to all the areas where it's needed. So then I'm going to set my base with a powder. Right now I'm using the Revlon Nearly Naked Mineral Powder Foundation. You can use a powder brush which is kind of fluffy, but I personally like these denser brushes just so I feel like they really push the powder into the face and will keep you matte for a bit longer. I'm just going to do that right now. I personally like a lot of powder because I tend to get really oily. And remember, don't wipe, just kind of push it in to the face. Otherwise you're going to move all your hard work. I'm then going to prime my eyelids using Urban Decay's Eyeshadow Primer Potion. I'm going to take this all the way from my lash line to the brow bone. I'm then going to start applying my eyeshadow with the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. We're going to start with the lightest brown, so it's right over here. I'm going to apply that using a fluffy brush to my crease. And you use windshield wiping motions. Start on the outer corner and then kind of work your way to the middle of the lid. This is really good for just opening up the eyes and also giving your lid color something to blend with. should look like that. I'm then gonna go in with a matte cream eyeshadow to highlight my brow bone. This one right there. I'm just gonna apply that with another fluffy brush, and then should just pat that on. Make sure you kind of meet at where you put this little brown blending color and kind of blend the two together, just so you don't have a harsh line on your eyes. And then going to fill in my eyelid with the MAC Mineralized Powder in Soft and Gentle. I'm gonna use a flat dome brush for this, just so you can kind of pack on your colors. Apply that to the center of the lid and then work my way into the corner of the eye and then the outer end of the lid. And I'm going to also use the same brush to take it around my tear ducts. So right around the inner corner of the eye. I'm then going to take this matte dark brown color, and I'm going to use my fluffy brush again, and I'm going to apply it to the outer corners of my eye. So just in kind of like a V shape. And then blend it about halfway onto your lid. Like that. Just do the same on the other eye. Just to kind of reinforce the brown that we put in there before. And then I'm going to take the same color underneath my eye using my flat dome brush. So I'm going to only go in about halfway. Okay, so that should be all blended. Now I'm going to go in with my eyeliner. I'm going to start with the Maybelline Line Express pencil. So the reason I'm starting off with a pencil before doing my liquid liner is because sometimes if you don't fill in the lash line, you'll see a little gap where your lashes are sitting and then your eyeliner is sitting on top. So this is just going to try and help fill that in and also make your lashes look thicker. Make sure you kind of really push up as far as you can into your eyelashes. You might get a little transferring onto just the top there, but that's okay because you're going to fill that in. And then going to go in with the Maybelline New York Master Precise Eye Studio Liquid Liner. So I'm going to do a cat eye, and my tip for this is starting from the corner of the eye and working your way outwards. And I always try to keep a very steady hand with this. I find it's very easy if you kind of rest on your actual lash line instead of trying to kind of hold it up. I try to keep it as thin as possible just when I start, so then if I mess it up I can kind of make it a bit thicker as opposed to starting off with a really big cat eye and then kind of making it reach half up your eyelid if you kind of mess it up and take it up too far. So when I get to the end of my eye, I like to look straight ahead in a mirror to see where I want to put my flick. And you can kind of follow where your natural crease is and where the end of your eye is. And you can kind of see, if you look forwards, that you have a little gap between the two, and I like to put it just there. So I'm going to kind of start in small strokes, bringing that up. And then I'm just going to try and then bridge the gap from here to the end. I'm then going to go in with an eyelash curler. This is just by Tarte Cosmetics. And when you're using an eyelash curler, try and straighten it up. A lot of people tend to do that and then it only curls like kind of this bit. It kind of goes on a funny angle, if that makes sense. So you want to kind of straighten up your lashes but holding it really straight. I'm then going to go in with a mascara. This is the K Palette One Day Lash Perm. Make sure you really put a good coating, because when you're using false lashes, you want to create a nice little bar for the false ones to sit on. So by using a lot of mascara, it kind of creates like almost a bra for them. And also make sure you start and really get in your roots there. I'm then going to apply some false eyelashes. I've already measured and cut these to make sure that they're not too long for my eyelid. That's really, really important when you're doing false eyelashes, so they're not kind of poking you in the front or peeling off at the end. I'm going to use some Duo lash glue. I'm then going to put a little dot onto the side of my hand. By putting it there, you're kind of allowing it to get tacky, so it's easier to apply. It's also much better to apply the glue to the eyelash, as you can just kind of slide it right through. So once you've done that, making sure that you've got extra glue on both ends so it doesn't peel off, you're just gonna wait for this to get tacky, so give it a few seconds. Little dance, whatever you want. By waiting for it to get tacky, that means that you're just waiting for the glue to dry a little bit. So when you put it on, it's not just gonna slide off, it's gonna stick a bit. So once you've waited about half a minute, you're then going to grip the lash from the end with your finger and then try and drop it directly onto the top of your eyelashes and stick it to the end and then press down to stick it in the front. So you can feel if it's sitting directly on top of your eyelash as opposed to your eyelid. When you put a little pressure, you'll feel some of it onto your actual eyelash. And then just kind of make sure it's really pressed by kind of using your fingers. I'm then going to go over the false lash band with our liquid eyeliner again. You can also fill in those little gaps that kind of happen when you curled your eyelashes if it's still showing, but it actually should not be poking out. I'm then going to apply mascara to my bottom lashes and also go over the top ones again. So when you apply more mascara to the top, you're not going to want to take it all the way to the end of the eyelash because it'll actually look really clumpy. So what you want to do is keep it to about the length of your real ones, just to help the false and your real one bond. So what I'll do is I'll literally just brush it in kind of a patting motion about halfway up the lash. And then you can kind of see at the side that it's kind of bonded the two together. I'm then going to go in and fill in my eyebrows. This is really important to making sure that your makeup looks polished and properly finished when you're done. Also helps frame your eyes. I'm gonna go in with a dark brown eyeshadow from an old MAC palette that I have. So I'm using an angled eyebrow brush. This is just from Ardell. And then it's also got a little spoolie on the end. This is really important for brushing out your eyebrows before you start and afterwards to make sure the product kind of blends in and sits properly. I'm going to first start off by brushing my eyebrows out. So I'm going to brush the front ones upwards and then out to the side a bit, just to kind of see what your natural shape is, kind of get them all cleaned up. Okay, so once they're brushed through and you've got your natural shape, then just going to take a little bit of powder. You can also use a pencil for this if you like. I personally like powder though, so I'm going to do that for today. And then I'm going to start at the very front, kind of use little sweeping motions upwards just to kind of fill in the front bit. And then I'm going to, once I've done that, just start using little sweeping outward motions to go over my natural brow. Then I'm going to, once I've reached my arch, to the end and give me one little sweep. I'm going to start contouring my face using the MAC bronzer in Aphrodite Shell. I'm going to use a fluffy angled brush. I'm going to apply this just on the side of my forehead to add a bit of color. And then personally, I like to add a little bit just next to my eyes. So you can kind of think of it like a 3 almost. You're kind of going up here and then in there, across there. So sometimes after I've done my contouring, I like to darken it a bit and really define my cheekbones. So I'm going to go in with the Too Faced Bonjour Soleil palette. And I'm going to go in with the matte one over here, Chocolate Soleil. Just put a little bit on the brush because it's very dark. And then just go over your cheekbones again. But try to be a lot more precise this time, so take your time with it if you need. And then using a clean brush, I'm going to use this little brush right here. Just kind of blend it into that color that we already put. I'm then going to go in with MAC Seduced at Sea blush. I'm going to put this on the apples of my cheeks. And do a little smile and then kind of swirl it on there. And I like to always flick mine out a bit just into the top of my cheekbones. Makes it look a bit more natural. And then going to go in with my highlighter, and I'm going to use MAC Soft and Gentle Skin Mineralized Finish again. So I'm going to use just a little kind of flat brush. And I'm going to apply this to the top of my cheekbones. To the top of my Cupid's bow. Be really careful with it though, because if you do too much it can actually make you like you've got a sweaty lip. So just kind of try and keep it as close to your actual lip line as possible and not, you know, all the way up there. And then I'm going to take another fluffy brush and use it to put a little bit of this underneath my brow bone to highlight the area. And I'm going to start on the last bit of my look, which is my red lips. I'm going to start by using a red lip pencil and outline. The way that I like to do this is to start by outlining my natural lip line. And then if I need to make any corrections afterwards, I'll kind of go over it and fix it up a bit. And kind of work outwards. And then when I get to this bit, to kind of make my lips look fuller, I like to bring it in like that. I'm then going to go in with my red lipstick, and this is Napoleon Perdis's Madrid. And I'm literally just going to fill in my lips with this, going up to meet our pencil liner. So here's the finished look, guys. Make sure that you subscribe to us on YouTube if you like this video, and also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. Links are below. Thanks, guys.